All right. What's up, y'all? Today's the 5th of May. Yes, Cinco de Mayo, 2025. My name is Evan Strong, the founder of In The Image Clothing Company. This is In The Image Clothing Company Poodles. And this video here is going to just be a documentation on the reason for In The Image Clothing Company Poodles. And I'll really get into it. It's a whole fourth of our company, In The Image Clothing Company, and it's so much more than you might just think, right? It's so much more than just breeding purebred standard poodle puppies, registered proper dogs. I just want to sit here and talk for a good little while about what the reason for this whole fourth of the company is, why we really have this. Because I love standard poodles, okay? Me personally, Evan Strong. Whether I ever had In The Image Clothing Company and we did everything we do allowing the human body to work, whether I ever had a breeding program for any dog at all, and we do have this one here, In The Image Clothing Company Poodles, right? Purebred standard poodles, properly done. Regardless, I just love poodles. And there's a lot that goes into why this is a whole fourth of our company. Why not only I am starting a breeding program, but also I'm intertwining it with a quote-unquote clothing company. And I really want to talk about just a lot of the reason of why this is even here, why this is what it is, because I could structure this any way. And I've done it in a way that's pretty specific, actually. And there's intentionality to it and reasons behind it. So, as I was just saying a little bit, and if you know, In The Image Clothing Company, one of our fourths, which is our main side, where it all started and really the focus of where the name came from, we let our bodies just work. We do it through clothing. There's a fly on my shoe. We're designed in the image of God. So all human beings are the same, structurally, mechanically, the skeletal system, okay? Fat content changes, muscle mass changes, but our skeletal system, I say we're just a mechanical machine placed onto a rock in space, okay? It only works the way it does. So we place clothing on and it has to fit us well. It has to stay centered. The sternum, the spine, the trachea, the nose, in the center of the body. The jaw is as well, but it stabilizes our whole body. And so we show where clothing has to sit, and we discuss just how to let clothing not alter us, even clothing you already have. But then we have In The Image Clothing Company clothing available when we do, right? On InTheImageClothingCompany.com is where everything goes to from all four sides of the company. One easy place to find everything. So, for poodles, our breeding program, as I've documented, it'll just be done very properly, okay? Purebred dogs, AKC registered. Every dog will be microchipped before it goes to its new home. All the legally required immunizations. We'll bring the dogs up proper with sights, scents, smells, sounds, and hearing, right? Because I said scents and smells, so I said sounds and hearing. All the things, right? Getting the dogs really introduced to life. But a big thing is, it's not just some breeding program where we're going to become some huge commercial breeder and have just so many dogs that are just pumping out litters. I've made it clear, and this is the case, every mother dog within In The Image Clothing Company's Poodles breeding program, let me phrase it correct, In The Image Clothing Company Poodles breeding program, there will only be 3 litters per mother dog, and then we'll spay her and retire her so that the dogs can have as full of life as we can give them, okay? The whole thing with In The Image Clothing Company Poodles is awareness. It's about breeding really, really healthy, proper dogs, teaching people about the necessity of registering dogs, about the necessity of purebred dogs. It's about debunking myths. It's about having awesome companions. It's about In The Image Clothing Company dog products 100% natural materials, balanced weight-wise for the collars and leashes and harnesses, whatever we have available whenever we dabble in whatever we do, right? And it's about teaching a lot of things. Feeding, hydration for our dogs, discussing a lot of things like we do within human beings' clothing, unnatural materials that just never existed even decades back from today's date, that are just so damaging, especially being chewed on, because dog toys made out of stuff that shouldn't even be against the dog, and then they're eating the toys. Yeah. So there's a lot of reasons for In the Image Clothing Company Poodles. Poodle parades, as I've talked about, events where we will come together. I live in the state of Utah, the United States of America, so they'll probably just about, if not always, be here, and we'll meet up. The only dog breeds ever allowed at poodle parades under In the Image Clothing Company Poodles are purebred poodles of any size and or poodle mixes of any size. No other dog breed ever allowed. And I've said that so bold, there's reasons to it. This video here, there's reasons for In the Image Clothing Company Poodles. Spreading awareness about proper breeding, about what it really means for a dog to be purebred, about how to, even like when we go on hikes for some of the poodle parades, properly navigating terrain with your dog, how to introduce your dog to things so that it's just well versed. Because our poodles, as I've said, I'm not breeding for one specific thing, right? You've got people who will breed just for the coat as their highest priority, right? The hair coat for quality of coat. You've got people who will breed for agility, for competing in agility competitions, right? There's specific things you can breed your dogs for, selecting specific mother and father dogs to have a litter, to try to get a dog to be good at a certain thing and have that be a higher focus than any other thing that the dog is, okay? In the Image Clothing Company Poodles, our dogs through our breeding program, they're just well-rounded. That's our goal. Healthy, long-lasting, able to do anything you want to. Go on a hike, be around loud noises, be good around children, go to big events without being so distracted, having a nice coat of hair, right? All the things that just would consider a dog to be well-rounded, that's what we're going for. And really that's kind of the point. Regardless of if you are specializing in a certain thing, you still want your dog to be a well-versed in everything dog. So in the Image Clothing Company Poodles, we do a lot with things that apply to anybody's dog, but we only specialize in standard poodles, purebred. So yeah, there's a lot advocating wise for things, okay? Teaching people about genetics in the ways that we will be just giving a lot of information. We do a lot under In the Image Clothing Company in ways that doesn't really seem like a clothing company, and I understand that our name doesn't really fully explain all that we do, but the goal is natural under all four sides of our company, In the Image Clothing Company. And with our dogs, that's what I mean. Naturally healthy dogs, teaching how to have dogs live in this modern man-made world without being changed from their natural state to have to, deal with these slippery indoor floorings that can damage their joints premature, all the materials that they're coming in contact with that they never would otherwise, just being a dog in nature, right? Products placed onto them, weighing down on their neck, collars. Yeah, there's a lot that we really do here. It's not just like one thing only, okay? Not only a breeding program, not only giving information on letting dogs stay natural, but advocating for a lot of things. And we'll do collaborations in a lot of ways, and I'm not going to give specifics yet, but just what this all is it's kind of what I'm saying, right? It's well-rounded in the Image Clothing Company itself. Our clothing is do everything clothing. Our dogs that we will personally breed through In the Image Clothing Company Poodles breeding program, that's, as I said, the goal is just well-rounded dogs. And our company as a whole, we're not boxed into just like clothing or just breeding or just a podcast on the gospel of Jesus Christ under In the Image Clothing Company podcast, not just music under In the Image Clothing Company music. But as a whole company here, we're just well-rounded in learning all that we can about what we do and doing it better and better and better and better. And with that, In the Image Clothing Company Poodles, I'll have a dog with me basically everywhere I go. And what a poodle is something that has become what it is nowadays. And in order for that to be the case, in order for there to be a breed standard, something to uphold as far as parameters of this is a breed and this is why it is able to be called a poodle, we will do all that we can to uphold that standard and teach people about breed standards and what that means, and a lot comes from this. So just so that people can kind of have a little bit of a broader view of what we really do here, you don't have to be looking to purchase a standard poodle puppy to be interested in what we are here. And you don't have to purchase In the Image Clothing Company dog products or be interested in what we're doing with really refining how to keep them minimal and natural for the dogs to benefit from what we do here, because there are so many things that we are going to get into and just adventures that we'll document. We do so much under video. So when it comes to the Poodle Parade events, right, things will be filmed and documented in ways. Every litter will be filmed when it's born, so you can see your own individual puppy at birth when you do purchase it, somewhere around 8 weeks of age, right? There's a lot awesome here. That's how I'm gonna word that. Because really, even if it does come to just me going on a hike with some poodles or a single poodle and filming it, right? Having good adventures like that, giving information on, training, how to, debunking things as I've done already in some videos, why dogs aren't listening so well, noise from their collar, weight pulling them in a direction when you're trying to get them to go somewhere else, right? How to train in certain ways. And again, videos, I just love videos. So even just adventures, documentations, things like In the Image Clothing Company podcast, where I'm just sitting there talking, I can do that if and where and anytime for any fourth of the company to just give information, give context. Because me as the founder of In the Image Clothing Company, what I have founded here is something I really, really, really understand well. And will just continue to deepen as deep as I can my understandings of the anatomy of the human body, for example, and poodles and all that comes with that. So yeah, that's the reason, quote unquote, meaning that's a lot of them. And then whatever else we broaden out and expand out and get into under In the Image Clothing Company Poodles, that's why we're here, okay? So stick around for the wind noise. Stick around for real, raw, authentic me, okay? Episode 114 of In the Image Clothing Company podcast is titled In the Image Clothing Company and Evan Strong are one. So that's really how this is. Yes, it's a full-blown company. It's not just me doing some video diaries, but I'm the central part of this to keep it what it is. And yeah, okay, you can see how intentional I am about things. You can see the fruits of the labor, if you will. You can see the things that I talk about, what comes from what I'm talking about. You can see that things work, and that's why I do them, right? I use the phrase preaching what I've practiced, right? Kind of on the back end, because I rarely ever talk about anything that I don't know at least pretty darn well. So yeah, okay. There we go. In the Image Clothing Company Poodles. I love adventures. Here in Utah, the United States of America, we've got big mountains. So there's hikes, we've got lakes, we've got deserts, we've got so many different types of terrain here. It's a really unique part of the earth. And with that, we have poodles, okay? So poodle parades will be great. Yeah, so much here, okay? I'm not ever trying to hype anything up. I'm not ever trying to have expectations that won't be met. I'm not ever trying to make something anything that it isn't. And that's why there's wind noise, and there's lawnmowers, and there's construction sound. If you can hear that beeping over there. I mean, we're just what we are, documenting. We will have good products available. We will breed really, really healthy dogs, and quality over just quantity litters, right? And everything poodle puppy wise is going to be done under contract, really proper, and learning as I go, okay? Because I'm new to everything that I haven't done yet, okay? But this is In the Image Clothing Company Poodles, and a lot of reasons to why this is even a thing, okay? So thank you, stick around. I wanted to be so clear. The whole reason for this fourth of the company stemmed from my love of standard poodles. So that's where everything's coming from with this. Anything with poodles, under In the Image Clothing Company Poodles, my heart's in it. And that's why it is what it is, okay? So, thank you. Today's the 5th of May, 2025. My name's Evan Strong, the founder of In the Image Clothing Company, and now you know what the reason really is for this fourth of the company. Because I know sometimes you read the company name and it's like, I didn't really expect this to be what they are, because In the Image Clothing Company, and then poodles placed after that. It's like, what in the world? Some people are probably thinking at first, and I get it. But I also like that because we do debunk myths and we do shock people with saying things that they didn't previously understand. And our company name in itself is like that. It's not really what you're expecting if you perceive the name to be something different than what we really are. So there we go, and thank you. We're here to stay, by the way, for at least the life of Evan Strong. Yeah, forever. Here to stay. In the Image Clothing Company, all 4 sides. So, thank you. Stick around. Or stop in. Come to a poodle parade. Make sure you read what's required of you to bring, and you know what's not allowed, how to be at them. Any event ever under In the Image Clothing Company, by the way, we're strict, we're bold, we're blunt, we're raw. We will send people away if they came with things that we said weren't allowed, because they're our events for our company. Okay, so yes, thank you.